participated in the process of selection. All right. Process of selection.
Yes.
In the meantime,
Yes.
these are the persons who were from Jharkhand who has not conducted TET.
Correct.
So they went to the High Court.
Yes.
And while they went to High Court, they asked that because of the state has not conducted this examination, those should be permitted.
Yes.
Concession was given by the government. The basis of the same, they were permitted to participate and court passed an order.
Correct.
Now, being agreed, because you are going to be affected by the same, you came before this court.
We have filed this.
You say like this.
That's. I'm sorry.
So please give that.
It is a learning experience, Manoj. I'll improve myself.
Learning experience
For me.
in the Bihar case, that one case may close. We are seeing every day this bunch is being attached now. Then we find something is different. Let us come somewhere.
So, if your lordships can just take up that first paper book, Manoj, in Parimal Kumar. Yes, Manoj, for the exams? For the exams, yes. If your lordships are asking me about court, no. I come up.
You were not there, that is mentioned in the
Yes.
right? But in the selection process means against the advertisement you had applied.
Yes, of course.
Come to the advertisement.
Yes, Manoj.
Come directly to the advertisement.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Okay.
it's
You are
in the
first
IA
case,
for
no?
additional.
We are on the first case coming.
First case.
419.
So, it's in the IA for additional documents. Page 35.
Application permission to place the additional document.
Yes, Manoj. In that page 35, if your lordships will take. This is in 2023. When is the deadline? April 467.
Yes, please.
Yes. Your lordship sees the. This is the advertisement.
Yes. What is the requirement?
Qualification report. 142 of yours.
This is Jharkhand Teachers Training Competitive Examination.
It's page 142, Manoj.
Page 35, not 35.
It starts at 35. I'm sorry. 35 at 142. It's very long.
142.
Yeah.
My paper book.
Yeah. Same. Page 142. It's this minimum educational qualification starts at 138 at 142. If your lordships wishes, I can show from 138. 35. Yes, 35 at 138, clause 5. The scale of pay and minimum educational qualifications for the posts mentioned in clause 3 are as follows.
So the post is intermediate trained assistant teacher.
Yes, intermediate trained assistant teacher, classes 1 to 5. And the minimum educational qualification is the last column, Manoj.
Yes.
If you just come to 142,
Yes.
at the end, and so it's a conjunctive, and pass the teacher eligibility test. That's Jharkhand, Jtet, conducted for classes 1 to 5 by the government of Jharkhand under the guidelines formulated by the NCTE.
Where is this?
Which
page?
Page 142 bottom.
142.
And just this part, Manoj.
Pass the teacher eligibility
Pass the
test.
teacher eligibility test conducted for classes. It should be Jtet, not Jett. For classes 1 to 5. Jtet, teachers eligibility. It's called the Tet across the country. Each state's prefix will be there. Conducted for classes 1 to 5 by the government.
TET.
Jtet. Jharkhand Teachers Eligibility Test.
JTET.
Yes.
Is it right?
Yes.
JTET. Class 1 to by Government of Jharkhand under the guidelines formulated by the National Council for the Teachers.
For teacher education.
So meaning thereby this JTET is under the guidelines formulated by National Council of
By the NCT. That's right.
Yes.
Now, if I can pause here for a minute, I just want to take a minute to tell your lordships the statutory backdrop behind this. It starts with the RTE. Your lordships can just see the act for a minute because it's a mainstay of
Here is that act.
the Right to Education Act. Right to Education.
Why go there? We have to see the rules and the qualifications prescribed.
I'll explain why. Because of very well, I just want to show your lordship the entire backdrop of this. It starts with RT, goes to the NCT, which is nominated under the RT, the NCT's guidelines, and then these advertisements come. So I'm showing you the foundation behind the advertisement, and therefore the concession. This is the simple argument. The concession that they made before the High Court was legally impermissible just by reading this. That's our argument. That's the beginning and end of it. That's all. So I can show you the rest of the documents, etc., but unnecessarily I'll take time because this is the heart of our case. Just give a copy. If you have a copy.
I can give. Yeah, same thing.
Same.
We have two cups.
Section 23, Manoj.
Another setting. Other set.
I can give. You can take my. What must?
All right.
अभी के लिए ये ले.
Yeah.
Manoj.
Section 23.
Yes, 23(1). Now this is mandatory. It says qualifications.
Yes.
So sorry.
Qualification for appointment.
Qualifications for appointment and terms and conditions of service of teachers. 1. Any person possessing such minimum qualifications as laid down by an academic authority authorized by the central government by notification shall be eligible for appointment as a teacher. So, the minimum qualifications will be as laid down by an academic authority which will be designated by the central government. Nobody else. No state government has any power. It's only the central government which can nominate what that authority is. Right now? Now, 2, for a minute. Where a state does not have adequate institutions offering courses or training in teacher education, so that requirement has to be fulfilled, or teachers possessing minimum qualifications as laid down under subsection 1 are not available in sufficient numbers. These are the 2 triggers. In either of those situations, the central government may, not the state, the central government may, if it deems necessary by notification, relax the minimum qualifications required for appointment as a teacher for such period not exceeding 5 years as may be specified in that notification. So the scheme is very clear, Manoj, from 23.
What is this proviso?
The proviso reads that a teacher who at the commencement of this act does not possess such qualification
May acquire within 5 years.
shall acquire it within 5 years.
Proviso.
Further proviso that every teacher appointed or in position on 31st March 15, this was inserted later in 17, Manoj, shall acquire such minimum qualifications within a period of 4 years from the date of commencement of the RTE Act. Now, the reason for the second proviso is that as for section 23(1), the first subsection, the authority had to be designated. That authority which was designated with a notification dated 31st March 2010. And you will find that at page 9 of the IA. Page 9. Actually, I'll just hand up this note so your lordships can. I have put it in my note. If your lordship just comes to page 2 of this note.
Let us see the notification.
Yes. I will. I'm just saying I want to save your lordships the trouble of making notes because what I'm submitting is in page 2 with the page numbers. So
Notification is page number.
The only problem is
page 9 of the additional document.
Mr. Shankar, the only problem is if you want to add anything, there is no space.
On this.
We'll have to write out.
No, I agree. I'm just
You
saying.
should leave some space also for us to note down.
No, Manoj, on page 2 there may be space. Just see page 2. Is there space? No.
Well, like yes,
Sorry.
we have to look at.
I'm sorry.
Come. So we have to note down.
I'm sorry about
If the dates are there, that's okay. Page number and date will get.
that same IA that your lordships took up just now to see the advertisement, page 9. Page 9 of that IA.
9 is in Hindi.
And English bottom right side.
Bottom.
Page 9 bottom right side. Small para on the right side. Your lordship sees 31st March 2010 notification. In exercise of the powers conferred by subsection 1 of section 23 of the RTE, the central government hereby authorizes NCTE as the academic authority to lay down the minimum qualifications for a person to be eligible for appointment as teacher. Right, ma'am? If you're
No,
not,
accordingly, this NCT has come into
NCTE is the singular authority and designated by the central government, keeping in terms of the Act. The Act, as your lordship saw, in 23(2), provides that if either of those two triggers are satisfied, that you don't have enough institutions or not enough people, then the relaxation can be made for a state by the central government for a period of 5 years.
Interesting.
Yes. So one thing is clear that the authority by central government will decide the qualification, and any relaxation for any state will be done by the central government.
Site minimum qualification.
Minimum qualification. So the central government is the only authority that will decide that. Then the state has no role to play. Now, just next page, page 10, Manoj. Page 10 is dated 23rd August 2010.
Yes, please.
Yes. This provides for the minimum qualifications. It's by the NCTE. This is page 10 of the same IA. At page 11, if your lordships will see, after dealing with minimum qualifications, classes 1 to 5, classes 6 to 8, just above serial number 2 at the bottom of the page, your lordship sees pass in the teacher eligibility test.
Yes.
P. My Lord Justice Bindal has it. Page 11, just above 2, in P, that second qualification, pass in the teacher eligibility test to be conducted by the appropriate government. Please mark appropriate government because that is defined in the Act. In section 2 of the Act, appropriate government is defined. In accordance with the guidelines framed by NCTE for this purpose. Appropriate government, my lords, is in section 2A of the Act.
A.
2A of the Act.
Where is that?
Bare Act, my lords.
It's right to
Yes. Section 2, subsection A. Appropriate government means, 1, in relation to a school established, owned or controlled by the central government or the administrator of the union territory having no legislature, the central government.
Okay.
2 is what is relevant. In relation to a school other than the school referred to in clause 1, established within the territory of this capital A, a state, the state government. So the appropriate government which will conduct this TET as required by the law will be Jharkhand. So reading this guideline at page 11, it's a mandatory requirement that they must pass the TET to be conducted by the state of Jharkhand, not any other TET. and this has to be in terms of the guidelines prescribed for that purpose. Oh, that's fine. The guidelines your lordships may note is that page 222.
Yeah.
Page 222. It's dated 11th February 2011. If I can just read this, just bindle as it, page 222. This is by NCT to all the secretaries, commissioners of education of the state governments and the UTs. Page 222, Maloj, Annexure P1. Guidelines for conducting TET. It's sent to all the state governments. Sir, madam, in accordance with 23.1, we did notification dated 23rd August. NCT has been laid down minimum qualifications, etc. It has been inter alia provided that one of the essential qualifications for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in any of the schools referred to in clause N of section 2 is that she should pass the TET, which will be conducted by the appropriate government in accordance with the guidelines. In this regard, please find enclosed the guidelines. The eligibility requirement, Maloj, is at page 223. Next page. Para 5. If I can just read in 5, small Roman 3. The following person shall be eligible for appearing in the TET. Small Roman 3. The eligibility condition for appearing in TET may be relaxed in respect of a state UT which has been granted relaxation under subsection 2 of 23 of the RTA.
This is not clause 3.
I'm sorry?
Clause 3.
5 small Roman 3.
Right.
5 small Roman 3. I'm so sorry. Eligibility. Page 223. Last line of that page. That small Roman 3. So
For appearance in the TET test.
yes. So it says eligibility condition for appearing in TET may be relaxed in respect of a state or UT which has been granted relaxation under 23.2. So for 23.2, as I showed your lordships under the Act, that's the only place that the relaxation can be granted by the central government.
This is only for appearance in that test which makes you eligible for appointment.
That's correct.
So how this will relate here?
It won't. I'm saying it won't. I'm saying that if they were to try and argue that a relaxation is possible, the only relaxation, even as per the guidelines, is limited
This
to.
is not a relaxation for appointment as a teacher.
I'm grateful. That helps my case. Because as per the parliamentary law in section 23.2, the only relaxations that is possible to the NCTE's mandate is if the state government writes to the NCT and says, look, I don't have enough institutions or I don't have enough qualified TET candidates in my state. Neither is the situation in Jharkhand. When they write like that, NCT has to write back saying, very well, for your Jharkhand, we will relax it, and for 5 years, we will relax that condition. Nothing of this sort has ever taken place. If nothing of this sort has ever taken place, relaxation is not possible. That's our argument. So you can't stand up in an inter se writ among yourselves and tell the court, look, we will consider, we will concede, we will allow other people with TETs from outside to take part. That's our argument. I hope I'm making myself clear. The relaxation is mandatorily only by central government in these two triggers.
Come to then eligibility that
Yes.
positive TET
Yes.
conducted for 1 to 5
Yes.
by the government of Jharkhand under the guidelines for wings. So along with the qualification,
Yes.
passing of JTET is essential.
Mandate.
Is essential qualification.
Essential qualification.
Once it is an essential,
Yes.
so your saying is
Yes.
JTET which is required to be conducted for class 1 to 5 by the
Yeah.
government of Jharkhand, formulated by National Council. So JTET,
Yes.
if you passed out,
Yes.
that should be as per the procedure prescribed
Yes.
for appearing to that and passing it.
Correct.
And that can only be as per the relaxation. And that relaxation is by the central government.
Yes. Now, in
JTET for TET.
so
You are referring of TET.
it's for each state.
They are asking in JTET.
Maybe state
So the
prefix.
TET is the JTET. So for each state, Kerala is called KTET, Rajasthan is the Rtet. So they put the state's prefix before each of these. So central is Ctet. So I mean Karnataka, Kerala, there may be a difficulty, but this is how it is across the country. Now, once the Jtet exam has been, you have enough candidates because more than 1 lakh of us have taken the Jtet and we have qualified the Jtet. So we are there. We're all available. This advertisement is for 26,000 posts, of which only 13,132 are available for us because of a reservation. Now that 13,132 is what we are eligible
This
for.
qualification is required by everyone. It's not that for reserved category this is not required.
No, it's for service.
Everybody will have conduct.
For it is required, this is a basic qualification required.
Para teachers are different.
Who are working as para teachers, so that's separate. That's why this for this 13,000 everybody requires. Everybody requires it. There's no relaxation.
Teaching of this 13,000.
That's the 50% of the posts advertised is 13,132. Of the remaining 50% is for para teachers. Who are already working in the state government, but for all them also, for
It
them
will
also,
be required
they
for
would-
that only.
they would require
Reservation of post for that category.
they would require that. But these people are already working as
That's-
teachers. We are not. So for the remaining 13,000, we are candidates who are available and eligible. So there was no reason for those who are coming later, who have not sat for the exam when we sat for it, or who have not cleared it when we sat for it, saying that you have not. Sorry,
Which year you had passed out?
2016.
16.
All of us 2016.
And this qualifying JTET
Yes, bro.
from the state of Jharkhand.
Yes.
This will be perfectly right for how many years?
It's supposed to be
Forever.
forever. Once you
Forever.
qualify it, you qualify. It's like getting a B.Ed or any other kind of.
So you can
Yes.
that you can appear then thereafter.
Yes. You can appear there.
So now you come to the advertisement and when exam took place, then what facts of this?
Can I just trouble you because I there are a couple of arguments against us which I must show your lordships also. So that guidelines I was showing you from the first paper book, page 226, my lords, I had read that. If your lordships can just see page
226.
226,
Page 223.
223. Now, if your lordships can come to page 226.
Applicability.
Yes. This is clause 10, applicability at the bottom of 226. A says Tet conducted by central government shall apply to all schools referred to in 2A1.
This is Pan India, it is a
Pan India. That's a CTET. Therefore, the CTET can't apply to schools, conversely, which are not covered by 2A1. Second, B. Tet conducted by state government UT with legislature shall apply to 1. A school of the state government or UT with legislature and local authority referred to and so on. So that's what we are relying on. That's what it will apply to. Now, just after that, a school at 1 and 2 may also consider eligibility of a candidate who has obtained Tet certificate awarded by another state or UT with a legislature. In case a state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct a TET, a school at 1 and 2 in that state or UT would consider the TET conducted by the central government. So this is in a scenario where the state itself is not going to conduct the exam and says so. That is not the state's position today. The state has conducted one exam which we have taken.
Clauses are
Yes.
TET conducted by a state UT with legislature
Yes.
shall apply.
Yes.
School of the state government UT with legislature and local authority. That means other states' qualification is valid if the legislature and all that is there.
Yes.
Valid.
It says a school at 1 and 2. A school
That is subsequent.
yes.
Prior to that.
Prior to that, a school of the state government.
Legislature.
Yes.
State A legislature, state B legislature.
Yes.
So qualification in state A is valid in state B.
No,
What is the meaning of this?
no, I'll if your lordship to look at 10B, 10B1,
B1.
10B1. I know, 10B1. It says,
Mr. Sankara,
yes,
TET conducted by the
by
state.
state government or by a UT with the legislature
Like Delhi is.
shall apply to a school of the state government or UT with legislature and local authority referred to in subclause 1 of clause N of section 2 of the
This will
RTE.
not be relevant here because this is only local authority defined.
Yes.
So that means any qualification from state with legislature or UT with legislature is applicable to all.
Within that state. Within that state. For the government schools in that state.
First one is central government. Second one is state government. For the state government run schools. If you lordship should see the definition of
So just a minute, let him complete. Otherwise, we'll not understand.
2N1, which defines a school.
2N1 is only for local authority.
No,
2N1 is something different.
2N1 is definition of school. So 2N1 says, if I can read that, school means any recognized school imparting elementary education and includes 1. A school established, owned or controlled by the appropriate government or a local authority. So all this assistant teacher recruitment that's happening, which is happening by the government, is for its own schools, which are covered by 2N1, which could be owned by the state or by a local authority, but 2N1 is what we are looking at, not private schools.
What is the meaning of this clause? If it is applicable in the same state, then there was no need for having this clause. Right? And if you read this with the first clause that the central government CTET is applicable pan-India,
Yes.
then the meaning of this we prima facie understand is that any test conducted by a state with legislature or a UT with legislature is applicable in the state with legislature and UT with legislature.
Correct.
It is equivalent.
So I'll just explain if I.
This is what we understand.
Yes, I understand. So
Schools they have
break up.
fine, no problem.
The way I understand this, Manoj, is this: 10 is in 3 parts. Now the first part,
Right,
which
first
is
part meaning we have
yes, no, but I'm saying
for different meaning.
the way I understand this is a division of applicability based on territory. That's the way I see it. 10A is dealing with 2A1, which is a central government institution.
How
So
can you
it-
say B is not talking about central government? It is state only. Central is one. A.
2A1 and 2N1 are two completely different things. 2A1, if you just see 2A1,
Central government is 10A only.
yes,
10A. B is not talking about central government.
no, it's not. That's why.
So, what is the import of 10B only? You just tell us that.
Just 10B. 10B is that if a state or a UT with the legislature, which is the appropriate government, makes here a TET exam is conducted by that state's TET would apply to all the government schools or local authority schools of that state.
From where you are taking that state? That state for that no provision was required.
No, I'm taking this only because this is.
Provision was required for
I'm
that.
responding to your lordship's suggestion because these are guidelines.
Right. So for that no provision is required. That they had to issue guidelines for that purpose.
But very often in guidelines, they try to be as exhaustive as possible.
Not required at all.
So maybe it's superfluous, but this is the only. Let me just respond.
Superfluous any.
No, there is a reason. The only interpretation which I am giving is the one which is consistent with the Act. If any other interpretation is taken, it renders Section 23 nugatory. That it can't do. Your Lordship,
That
please,
is a
Section 20.
separate argument altogether.
No, I'm
Suppose
saying
we take
that is why the interpretation has to be. Yes.
Taken a different.
Yes.
If we apply 10A,
Yes.
10A is applicable to subclause 1 and clause A of subsection 2.
Correct.
We have no concern.
Yes.
10A goes out.
Correct.
Come to 10B.
Yes.
Suppose we go to 10B.
Yes.
Then it says conducted by a state government, public duty
Yes.
with legislature shall apply.
Yes.
Alright. So now what we have to look into, TET conducted by the state government
Yes.
or by the UT
Yes.
with legislature,
Yes.
it will apply to whom? Now come. A school of the state government or
Of the. I'm sorry, but I'm saying the.
government.
If you just compare this with the above sentence, which says a state government, TET conducted by a state government shall apply to a school of the state government. So whichever state government conducts that, it is to them that it will apply. Otherwise, they don't have to do A and the separately. They would say A or any state government. They haven't used A. They haven't used any.
Alright, fine.
Yes.
So, but it is also using the word the local authority referred to in subclause 1,
Yes.
clause N or so and so. 2
Yes.
and N, we see that
Yes.
2 and
1. Yes. A school.
1 is
A school established.
owned and controlled by the appropriate government or a local authority.
Yes.
Alright,
Yes.
appropriate government or local authority.
Yes.
So, here the state government means it indicates the schools of the state government, and local authority means if we see this definition,
Yes.
then or local authority.
Yes.
So it falls within that. So it is in
Yes.
for one.
Yes. Local authority is defined, my lord, so in H.
In H it
Oh,
is
yeah.
defined.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes.
It is not at all relevant.
No, it's.
Now to come to B.
Yes.
A school referred to subclause B.
Yes.
Subclause 2. Clause N.
Yes.
2 is added school receiving grant in aid meet
Yes.
so and so expenses of so and so
Yes.
to a RTE Act of the so and so.
Yes. So government school or an aided
That is
school?
it.
Yes.
So now what do you want to say now?
So what I want to say is this, Manoj, that two things emanate from guideline number 10. Two things. The first, that a central TET will apply only to the schools of the central government under 2(1)(a). Second, that as far as state governments are concerned, when they conduct a TET, it applies to all the government schools and the aided schools within that state. That's why it uses the word the state.
If we are asking is
Yes.
where from you are reading within that state.
From the words, I'll just TET conducted by a state government shall apply to a school of the state government. So it is of that state government.
You
Yes.
are giving this because
Yes.
they may come with an argument. What
Yes.
may be their argument?
Their argument is based on the sentence after that, after the 1 and 2,
Yes.
that a school at 1 and 2 may also consider eligibility of a candidate who has obtained Tet certificate awarded by another state or UT with legislature. So that is what their argument is based on. That because of this guideline, we are entitled, therefore, to permit those who are
Yes.
Yes.
It's not continuous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the next line after that, in case a state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct a TET, a school at 1 and 2 in that state UT would consider the Tet conducted by the central government. So, this is what is being relied upon by them to argue that we are entitled, therefore, to allow as a qualification a non-Jharkhand TET or a CTET. This is their argument. So now, the problem with that argument of theirs appears to be that it would require a twisting of section 23, which it is our submission is impermissible. I want your lordships to also see the rules under the RTE, which provide for how relaxation can be granted.
It's completely wrong. Yes.
This first sentence is what the High Court has relied on, my lord. So your lordship may mark that a school at 1 and 2 may also
You
consider.
are not disputing this situation. This NCT can issue a guideline.
We are not disputing that.
Not disputing.
Not disputing.
This guideline they have issued.
Yes.
While issuing this guideline, they
Yes.
have given one relaxation there.
Yes.
They have given this relaxation
Yes.
on which they are relying upon.
Yes.
And this is a relaxation. A school at 1 and 2
Yes.
may also consider eligibility of a candidate who has obtained TET certificate awarded by another state or UT with legislature.
Yes.
In case a state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct TET, a school at 1 and 2 in the state or UT would consider the TET conducted by central government.
Second doesn't control.
So this is for central government and first is for the other states.
Yes.
So they have from other states,
Yes.
they have been permitted under this clause.
Yes.
So suppose then who would permit it? A school at 1 and 2.
Yes. The school itself.
So
Yes.
that can be permitted.
But that requires this procedure to be followed. That's what I'm showing your lordship. If you see the RTE rules made with reference to section 23, I'll just show your lordship. It's in the Bare Act itself. If your lordship takes a look.
Rule.
Rule 38.
Procedure.
This thing, yes, before 38.
Sorry, 17. Rule 17. I'm sorry. Rule 17.
Minimum qualifications.
Rules 17 and 18, my lord. 17 says the central government shall within 1 month notify an academic authority for laying down minimum qualifications. So that's been done. Now at 18, relaxation of minimum qualifications. The state government and the union territory shall, within 6 months from the commencement of the Act, estimate teacher requirement as per norms in the schedule for all schools referred to in 2N. 2. Where a state government or a UT does not have adequate institutions offering courses or training in teacher education, or persons possessing minimum qualifications as notified in Subrule 2 of Rule 17 are not available in sufficient numbers in relation to the requirement of teachers estimated under Subrule 1, the state government or the union territory shall request, their only job is requesting, within 1 year of the commencement of the Act, the central government for relaxation of the prescribed minimum qualification. 3. On receipt of the request referred to in Subrule 2,
Provision is made at the commencement of the Act because initially there was no institution, nothing.
that is correct. That is correct.
Not for subsequent period.
If that is so, then section 23(2).
That we will examine that, Your Honor.
No, yes. So if my argument would be that while this is at the commencement, it would also apply in every situation where at some point either you don't have enough TET qualified candidates, you can't leave the children without any teachers. So then you need a relaxation for your state. So then you will write to them and say, please relax, I don't have enough TET qualified candidates. Or in a situation where, for example, some institutions are shut down, maybe because of naxalism or anything else, and then you may be in such a situation. So if we were to read it that strictly to say that it's only within 1 year, then you're leaving the states without any other alternative but to conjure up band-aid options.
Leave aside, yeah.
Yes.
Direct questions.
Yes, sir.
Petitioners who were before the writ court,
Yes.
what was their relief before the High Court?
I'll just
What they were asking the relief before the High Court?
their prayers are at page 292 to 289 onwards. There are 4 prayers and I'll read them. A. Why no steps were taken?
Just wait.
289 of the SL. 289 bottom.
Or showing for the respondent why the steps are not being taken to conduct
Yes.
the
To conduct the TET since 2016 in spite of regular demands and protests, etc., etc. Then the second prayer, my lords, is at 292. How they will redress the aspirations of a large number of candidates available who have acquired all other requisite qualifications other than TET. Then press C, I'm reading all of them. Press C for directing respondent 2 to either conduct TET in the light of Jharkhand test, etc., which mandates the state authorities to conduct the TET every year, or to consider Ctet qualified candidates worthy for participating in the selection process of the teachers of the state. So there was an alternate prayer saying either you conduct it or allow Ctet eligibility.
So these are the Ctet persons.
Yes.
Ctet persons.
Correct. They don't have a Jtet, so they have a Ctet which permits them to apply for teacher positions in all central government institutions. So they have that. They therefore are asking for Jtet equivalence as well. We don't have the Ctet option. We have only our Jharkhand option. These are the prayers, fellows. Now, when this comes up before the High Court, at page 9 is where the judgment starts.
It's stand.
Let's mention, yeah, this supplementary. If I can just see para 2, which is at the bottom of page 9. Bottom of page 9. The matter was heard by us, and in course of hearing on 25th July, our attention was drawn to clause 10 of the guidelines conducting TET, what I just read to your lordship.
So meaning whereby we see
Yes.
then this guideline applicability,
Yes.
then the later part of this B,
Yes.
later part of this B,
Yes. Later part of the speech.
in case the state government UT with legislature decides
Not to conduct
not
the
to
TET.
conduct a TET,
A school at 1 and 2 would consider the TET conducted by the central government. So the prayer is only about Ctet.
the school of 1 and 2 in the
Yes.
state, in that state would consider the TET.
Correct. So clearly for this to apply, the state needs to take a stand that we are not going to conduct TET. Once the state says we won't conduct the TET, then obviously it's very fair for them to get the Ctet qualified candidates and ask them also to take part. State has not taken such a stand. That's not the state stand even today. On the contrary, the state has in its counter affidavit said that we will be conducting the TET. They are conducting the TET.
Anyway. Now come to the
Yes, ma'am. Now, if you just see para 4,
paragraph 4.
para 4, this is the stand that they've taken.
Supplementary counter affidavit.
Yes, supplementary counter affidavit. Just see extracted para 8 there.
Yes.
That it is stated and submitted that state of Jharkhand is intending to implement Jtet objectives in consonance with the geographical and regional needs, requirements such as various languages, tribal languages, culture and Hindi language speaking population within the state of Jharkhand. This is their evidence stand. So therefore, that guideline 10 won't kick in because they will conduct the exam and they will keep in mind culture, language, tribals, etc., etc. Now, para 6.
Yes.
Para 6. However, in course of hearing of these writ petitions today, Learned Advocate General appearing for the state would submit that he has received oral instructions that the state is willing to relax the criteria for eligibility as far as the candidates having Ctet examination certificate, with the stipulation that in the future date they have to clear the state TET examination and those persons should be the residents of Jharkhand. This is what we are agreed by because we don't believe the state could possibly relax. The state did not have this authority. The only exception is if the state took a decision saying we are not going to conduct the TET. The supplementary counter affidavit makes it clear that they will. If I can continue. Since the law provides that every year there should be a TET examination, and for the last so many years there has been no examination for testing the eligibility of aspirants to be appointed as teachers, we are of the opinion that not only those candidates who have Ctet certificate and residents of Jharkhand, but also those residents of Jharkhand having other qualification and having state TET examination certificate of any of the neighboring states shall also be given a chance to
So
appear.
they have taken both clauses
Yes,
of that applicable.
correct. When it was not even a prayer. Your lordships would notice the prayer was for Ctet in the alternative, not for any other state's qualification. They have widened it. having other qualification and having state Tet examination certificate of any of the neighboring states should also be given a chance to appear in the examination with certain stipulations which we propose laid down in the following paragraphs. In view of the proposal made by the learned AG and also having considered the matter to a great extent perhaps, we hereby dispose of the writ petitions and the PIL, directing the state government to conduct the TET examination every year henceforth.
It's all right. It's not the
That's so
eligibility issue.
correct. So para 8, we further So
whether the High Court has considered this clause,
they've only
it is
considered this.
in para 2. Para 2 it is considered.
Correct.
Clause 10.
The guideline clause. It's
Considered.
that's
Matter was
one.
heard
Clause
by
10. Clause 10. Nothing else.
Our attention was drawn by clause 10 to the guideline of PET.
Yes.
It has been by subclause B.
Correct.
The school referred subclause 1 and 2.
Correct.
Eligibility of the candidate who have obtained the TET certificate awarded by another state so and so. In case there is a quoted and
Correct. That's all quoted. That's
view of such position, we are of the opinion the state government is genuinely creating a number of posts
yes.
for which the state TET examination is required to be conducted.
So what they have
It has not been held for the last almost 9 years.
yes. No, but
Last examination was held in 2016. Should
Yeah.
not take into consideration the provision. Therefore, they advise the Residence Council for the state
yes.
whether they intend to allow these candidates who have TET examination. Okay.
Now, this has to be, if your lordship just see now the directions at paras 8 and 9. These are where the errors creep in. Para 8 is page 12. We further direct that those residents of the state of Jharkhand who are otherwise eligible to appear in the examination and hold a Ctet certificate or a certificate issued by neighboring states having resident of Jharkhand shall be allowed to appear in the ongoing process which has already started, with a further stipulation that the state shall ensure that the examination, if not held within a year, is held at least within next 3 years. Now, this is itself self-contradictory. If you're holding the exam as per the guidelines, there can't be Ctet. It's only if you're not holding the exam that you can have a Ctet. And the candidates who have participated in the selection process and have been appointed have to clear that Stet examination within a period of 3 years by giving one chance. They shall pass it within 3 years and in one first available chance. So this is the first direction. The second, we further stipulate that the state government shall not conduct the examination at least for next 3 months, so that the candidates should get some time to get ready.
It may not be that relevant.
It may not be, but all this was completely unnecessary when you have 1 lakh candidates who are eligible and available.
Where is that 1 lakh candidates are there?
It's admitted in their counter of the state, Manoj.
Let us.
Just give me page number. Para. Page? Counter in the Supreme Court.
It was not there in the High Court.
There's a counter in the High Court,
where is
supplementary counter in the High Court.
Where is that?
Counter
Just
of
pleaded.
Para page. No, what numbers? What numbers?
Supplementary in Supreme Court.
The numbers I understand are only in the Supreme Court counter affidavit.
Well, where is that? Where you
Yeah.
pleaded that?
That if you just see the Supreme Court counter,
No, where you have pleaded it.
we
You have to show somewhere you're pleading.
we have come to the Supreme Court, Manoj, so
In your pleading, it has to be there, then only the counter will come in.
no.
You have to state something.
We came for the first time in the Supreme Court, so it's only from Supreme Court pleadings I can show you.
What is the question is being come to you?
Yes, Manoj.
In Supreme Court writ petition which you have filed,
Yes, SLP, yes.
you must have asserted here that how many candidates have appeared.
Page
Therefore, adequate number of the candidates were available to participate.
page
Those possessing a TET from those are having the JTET.
page H, Manoj.
Page H.
H. Page H.
There is no reply given to the list of dates.
Where is the
Sorry, ma'am?
pleading?
Ground you come to page 213.
So on that, if your lordships looks at the certificate that we annex at the end of every SLP, the certificate is an attestation by the advocate on record in these courts that the SLP synopsis, list of dates, all form one single composite. So when replies are filed, they're filed, but it's there in the grounds also. I'll show you both.
Mr. Shankar,
I'll show you both.
leave aside what certificates are given.
No, I'm
Don't
just
argue that.
Yes.
We can show you hundreds of Wrong, incorrect certificate.
Just see ground L in the SLP.
That I've told you 213 page it is there.
Yes.
Now see the counter. Let us see the counter.
States counter, Malad. Page 13, Malad, of the states counter. That's counter on behalf of respondents 1 to 5.
Page 13.
1, 3, para 8. In the peculiar facts and
Page 13.
Page 13, yes, Manoj. Of their counter, para 8.
Yes.
In the peculiar facts and circumstances of the present case, wherein the regular Jtet could not be conducted in the past few years due to COVID pandemic and other contingencies, and on one hand, there are enough members of Jtet qualified candidates within the state, approximately 1 lakh. Whereas on the other hand, a large number of Ctet qualified candidates and residents of state of Jharkhand who are aspiring to participate in the process of appointment. So here also they admit there's about 1 lakh of us. And they say there are enough numbers. So they also believe there's satisfaction as far as quantity is concerned.
So now what is your argument finally?
So my arguments,
That
the lordships can just pick up this note that sums up what my arguments are after the list of dates, page 2. The first is that section 23 is mandatory. And those relaxations can only be by the central government following the procedure that's been provided.
4.2.
Yes, Manoj. 4.1 makes it clear that section 23 is mandatory. 4.2 talks about how relaxation can be only by the central government. And as your lordships have seen, that guidelines itself provides that Ctet is only for central government schools, not for anything else. The only thing in the guidelines which your lordships noticed is that they say if the state says we're not going to conduct the Ctet, then the question may arise of you borrowing and using Ctet qualified candidates. But that trigger, even as per the guidelines, admittedly is not there, because as we have shown you from the counter, their stand is we are conducting the exam. And again, in this counter just now, the same paragraph, they have said that we will be conducting, we couldn't conduct it because of COVID and other circumstances. So they have never taken a stand which fulfills that guideline 10 second part, which requires them to say that we will not conduct that, in which case, yes, Ctet can be borrowed. So that even we are not saying that you can't if you're not conducting the exam. We are saying since you have said that you are conducting the exam, then you have to strictly go by Jtet.
Basically 23.2 compliance is your order.
Yes, 23.2 along with the guideline itself. Even if I'm
With guidelines following the rules.
following throughout.
Following the rules.
Yes. Now there's one couple of additional points. If you see 4.3 and 4.4 at page 3. We've given the page references. Service importance of Tet cannot be overemphasized and has been accepted by the state. 4.3, Manoj, page 3. Service rules provide that Tet papers include tribal and regional languages. Jharkhand, being a tribal state with 32 scheduled tribes, requires regional language as a medium of communication with students. Jharkhand also has the third lowest literacy rate in India. Further, the state itself has admitted before the High Court that Ctet does not fulfill the needs of the state to the state regional language and local needs. This is at page 302. The Lordship will find it in para 12. This is what they've said. It's part of the supplementary counter that they filed in the High Court. Sorry, it's main counter, not supplementary, main counter. Part of the main counter.
Online.
Yes. And the other ground is on prejudice, Malats. I've mentioned that. And finally, in the directions, if your lordship notice, they don't say that certificates of Tet from any states. They say neighboring states. There's no rationale really behind any of this. They shouldn't have departed from what the requirements are, what the qualifications are when they admit that 1 lakh are available.
If relaxation is good, then that clause is good. That proviso, if it is bad, it is bad.
It is bad. I'm grateful. That's all
I think maybe in this speaking they may have thought of, we don't know. But
that's
I think state maybe.
left to the local.
Maybe.
There's an there's a companion petition.
Yes.
Wait, please.
That is all.
Yes,
Yes, madam.
Wait, please. Lord, while you are on the counter filed by the state, which has been partly dealt with by the impugned order, my lord, would your lordship kindly see just 2 paragraphs of the counter filed by the state, my lord, which is very relevant.
To counter file in this
Counter
before
file.
Supreme Court in High Court.
Yes, my lord. Please come to page number 323 of the same paper book which Mr. Gopal had referred to.
323.
The reasons, because the High Court talks about them, it doesn't talk about what the state itself was concerned about. Please come to para 18, page 323, my lord. That it is further stated that the central TET qualified candidate or a candidate qualifying TET by another state can only be considered for a state-run schools when particular state government has decided not to conduct its own TET. But it is most humbly stated that it is not the case that the state government had decided not to conduct the JTET, and in these circumstances, the state government is not bound to consider central TET or a candidate qualifying TET by another state or UT as eligible qualifications. That CTET qualified candidates can be made eligible in a given contingency where the state government is not conducting TET, but when this contingency does not exist, there is no occasion to make central TET candidates eligible or to allow those candidates who have obtained TET from central government or any other state UT. Lord, in this scenario,
So your contention is
yes,
that in the first counter affidavit filed before the High Court,
this is the second counter, supplementary counter.
this supplementary counter.
Yes, this is supplementary. Subsequent to, my lord, the first.
Then suppose the supplementary counter says this.
Yes.
Then from where this concession has come?
This is oral, my lord. It is just the Advocate General says oral concession. There is nothing in writing. Number one.
Right statement of Advocate General is.
Therefore, they have taken it. Number two, my lord. The entire writ petition, my lord, is allegedly it's called as a PIL. In service law, there is no PIL. In fact, all the petitioners are wanting to participate in this election. It's not a PIL in that sense. They are an unregistered association. We do not know how many members are there. They came before the High Court, my lord. The Honorable High Court ought to have at least seen all these provisions, which my learned friend was now striving to point out, my lord. What are the statutory sequence? What are the regulations to be applied? Whether it can be relaxed at this point of time, whether the contentions of the petitioner only for the prayer that please conduct JET, which can be at a stage we are saying that in the upcoming selection, please consider me. Now, please note the point, my lord, the rules in existence on that date had only JTET. When they went to the writ court, there was no challenge to the rules in existence. They said the rules in existence when we participated in the advertisement said only JTET. There is no challenge to that. In that scenario, whether the High Court would have rewritten the rule or the advertisement, your lordships have held, my lord, you can't change the rules after the game has started. As simple as that.
Where are the rules?
Yes, bro. So, my friend had pointed out 228.
234.
No, it started like that, but the relevant portion. Same paper.
228 at 234.
Yes. $240. Please come to 240 and also
34.
240, also 242. Yes, for primary. 240. Yeah, I'll first show 237. It starts. Thank you. But the peculiarity of the state is so much that they take so much into consideration, Lord. They belong to various tribes, and therefore it's very important. The state had itself pointed out all those. 237, my lord. Para 3E. E is there, middle of the page.
So you are as 228.
Which is
228.
Yes, Lord. It started at 228, my lord. Kindly come to 234, which will say qualification. Correct. Yes.
234.
Yes, sir. We'll start with qualification. 234 will start with qualification.
Yes.
Please come to 237, my lord. Middle of the page. Yes. Left side will be, my lord, intermediate teacher, education, what is that, all rules of mathematics, physics, etc. Coming to the 237 middle, 3E. Candidates will be eligible for appointment as assistant teacher in the same subject group in which they have passed.
Subject is all right. We have to see Jtet.
Yes, please come over the page, my lord.
Page 248.
240, absolutely. Lord. I'm great.
What is that?
Jtet.
The qualification.
Must read this last part. This
Yes, Lord, why I wanted to read this 237 was the point which we were stressing that, Lord. Same subject in which they have passed the teacher eligibility test, and after passing the teacher eligibility test in the regional language, tribal language notified for the district, will be eligible for appointment in that particular district.
No, the advertisement is district wise.
Yes.
yes.
Is advertisement not district wise?
Post, sir. Because suppose somebody has learned Santalia, then they will be posted in that district.
Let us see the advertisement.
Yes. Advertisement.
I will see. Go back. Please first complete this.
Sorry, I'll complete at 240 minutes. At 240, state
240.
clarify that. 240B and passed in JTET. The teacher eligibility test conducted for classes 1 to 5 and 6 to 8 by the government of Jharkhand under the guidelines formulated by NCTE. Yeah, correct. 240.
Now come to that advertisement.
42 also it says 6 to 8 JTET. Yes.
It's not 6 to 8.
Yes. 6 to, both are not 1 to 5 and 6 to 8 are primary and upper primary. Please come to the advertisement.
Advertisement.
Yeah. Just one more 2 lines in that advertisement itself at 238 on top, Milord. Sorry, on the rules itself. On top, Milord. Just 2 lines.
238.
238. On top, first line. 238.
Yes.
It will be mandatory to have knowledge of local customs, language, and environment. Yes.
They are basically, they say, residents of Jharkhand only.
But Ctet is only English, Milord. They don't have all these languages.
That's a different thing.
Very well. No, that's very
They have
essential
the
for a
knowledge of-
primary child. In fact, Devesh
They have
Sharma, your
knowledge of all this. That's why they said residents of Jharkhand only.
residence is fine, Milord, but they didn't pass. Milord, he had passed in 16, waiting for the past 8 years. And different local customs and languages and tribal. Yeah. Advertisement will be in the additional documents, Milord. Your lordships had seen it. There also at one, yeah, it is starting at 35, but relevant portion of qualification 51.
51.
51.
Additional.
The same volume which your lordships were seeing earlier also.
51.
Additional
But 51 will show district-wise reserved post for non-para.
non-para. You are non-para.
Non-para, we are all non-para.
Even para is district.
Yes, everybody is district-wise only, but this is specially for non-para. Then come to 142.
So as per you, it is district wise, no?
Yes, my lord.
And then during
After this,
after qualifying the test, then at that time they may look into about this.
district posting.
Accordingly,
Yes,
they may do it.
yes, my lord, rank wise. 142, your lordship will find the same advertisement in pursuance of these rules, which contained JTET. Your lordship saw it, my lord. Page 142. Your lordships had seen. And
JTET.
JTET.
Password to
Yeah.
by
By the government of Jharkhand is the advertisement also.
But in that test, they are taking test of all the languages and all that of the state.
Everything. This one, my lord. In this advertisement, they
No, this question is different.
Sorry.
In JTET, when he is appearing, the person is appearing in JTET.
yes.
So when he appears in a JTET, then what is the curriculum? But are they taking the test of language wise and
Particular
everything?
language. They choose a language. Particular tribal
He will-
areas,
he
languages,
will
they
be
know
eligible.
language.
How
That's
will
why
he-
they get an extra advantage.
Who he will be eligible for appointment in another district.
He will not be, he will be chosen when he comes in the merit list according to his
Suppose he
In
comes
the
in,
advertisement, some preference in the form have been prescribed.
The advertisement will show that yes,
Any
the post
preference?
are reserved for a particular tribe.
In the rules,
Yes.
tribal and regional language, anyone who
Page 246 will show. SL. The subjects are given at 246. Language is essential. List language, mother tongue, and gender knowledge. They are common, my lord.
Where you are reading?
246 of the SLP, which is the rule as such, my lord. Your lordships will get that.
Rules are for appointment.
No, rules mention that every person for this examination, what should be the subject matter is written there. Marks allotted for that.
Approved by Jharkhand Academic Council, so and so the format of examination will be as follows.
Yes, my lord. That will be serial number A will be subject is tribal and regional language. Any one of the district-wise languages notified with a notification so and so so and so. Yes.
There are 32.
There are 32. That question is 70 marks maximum. Then your lordship will come to B, any one of the mother tongue as per secondary examination. Then my lord C is general knowledge, current affairs, social science, and that's it, mathematics.
The test for this selection.
Yes.
We are asking for the syllabus for JTET.
Yes. Yes, my lord. This is assistant teacher.
Yes.
Yes.
No, the question which was put to
Yeah.
was that for the purpose of the JTET, then to appear for a JTET,
Yes.
is it district wise, language wise, regional language wise?
We are instructed to say it is language wise. We don't have the ready reference of the rules here. Yeah, you
It's
have
the states counter.
state counter. Sorry.
States counter in the Supreme Court at page 21 are the rules, and the list of languages are at page 21 and 31
Yeah.
of the counter of the state.
Yes.
Page 21, Manoj, is where it starts.
Sorry.
Yes, please.
This is the notification.
Yes, Manoj. So this is the
JTET test notification.
so these are the TET rules, Manoj, for Jharkhand.
Yes.
Your lordship just comes to page 31.
31.
This is the district wise. This is a schedule. District wise list of tribal regional languages, which is listed.
No,
That is there. Where is
that
the
is
syllabus?
fine. What we are asking, Mr. Gopal Sankar Narayan and Ma'am
Yes.
Manaji, what we are asking is schedule is in terms of the rules. So where is this description in the rule? That's how this appointment would be in that. You are specifying this district contained with this language and so and so. It's a different thing.
Yes.
So where it is prescribed, number one,
Yes.
for JTET curriculum, the person has to appear in this is regional languages, and those persons as per have a preference under the rules in so and so, and option is required for their appointment in this regard.
So page 28 of this name, just if you go a little way back,
28.
28. At 27, they give the pattern of the eligibility test. At 28, after the table ends, Manoj, just see G. Sorry, not G. I.
Regional travel language mentioned.
Mentioned under language 2 in rule 7 will be as per schedule 1 of the rules. For appointment to the post of teacher, the candidate will have to take the examination in any one of the regional tribal languages allowed for the district applied. So in the schedule, they give for each district what those languages are. And then,
No. District applied. That means he'll be eligible only for that district.
Yes.
as per this, yes.
So please
this is
clarify
only
this
JTET.
situation.
Yes.
So it's not going to complete today.
Very well.
We are seeing.
Yes.
To clarify and relevant rules of that, you will find it rules.
Right.
This is a rule for appointment. Rule says this much.
Right.
So and so far as curriculum
Yes.
for that JTET is concerned.
Yes.
Alike. So what prescribes so? Please clear, make it clear.
Do that. We'll do
So
that.
it's not going to complete today. We have understand now.
Lord, the certificate mentions the language that he has studied specifically. The TET certificate issued to the candidates mention only what he has chosen and only he will be considered for that. We will place that.
We are in this case we are considering the rule part.
Yes.
But for the rule part, we want some support of actual background.
We'll give it.
We know this. We
We'll-
want
Yes,
to
sir.
know.
Understood you.
Yes, all that happened because of the shortest order, my lord. Therefore, nothing was considered therein. My lord.
Yes, all right.
In fact, my lord, your lordship will see.
Now you go on by your argument.
Yes, thank you. But this, we are not 1,301 people who qualified in 2016 in the Jtet, and we have been waiting since 2016, Lord. Your Lordship will see that I showed that the rules in existence named under 309 has considered this, Lord.
You passed out Jtet in 2016. After passing out of Jtet in 2016, this notification of the teacher's recruitment is of 2023.
Never came.
During this period, any other advertisement was issued?
No, we have been waiting.
There was no
Lord.
advertisement.
We have conducted protests and dharnas for selection.
Advertisement. 7 years no.
Lord, so many
For recruitment, no advertisement.
no recruitment there. We
We'll
have
ask-
been waiting
We'll
for
ask
so
the
long.
state council.
2016 onward. That is why, my lord.
Which is why they also didn't conduct another Jtet.
We
Because
can't.
of unemployment, the school colleges have not been closed.
Don't add anything which is not a part of the either counter affidavit or of the.
Would be the-
No.
Would be the reasonable thing because
No,
you have
don't add the law list, right?
you have lots of people
No,
doing
sir.
exams and sitting.
No.
Next.
They have not closed the normal graduation, post-graduation or any other school colleges because employment is not there.
Next is
Can't-
in the advertisement. The advertisement specifies there is a deadline to the advertisement. The deadline for applying and also
That is-
acquiring qualification also.
Has to be there on that.
Deadline to the advertisement.
No.
Therefore,
For the purpose of
applying for
you
this.
must have purchased this degree on or before so and so date.
My lord.
Please show them.
Yes. Please come 142.
142.
Is the qualification, but at 149. 149.
149.
Yes, my lord. Minimum educational qualifications.
Yes, please. It will be mandatory for the candidate who have purchased the desired minimum qualification. Last date is the application of the commission.
Yes, that will be at 169 also. The reference date is the last date. Please come to the last date at 169, my lords.
What is the last date for filing application?
Yes, para 15
Otherwise-
at 169.
Para
Para 15, 15.
169.
169, my lords. For registration and entering information from 8/8/23 to midnight 7/9/23 to pay the examination fees on.
Relevant, you tell us the.
No, you know,
This
what
always
I
there
am
on-
trying to point out is that all the qualifications ought to have been attained on that day. The Honorable High Court while entertaining,
Always there in all cases.
That
but the
is,
High Court while entertaining the writ petition, there was no stay or a
Annaji, don't come argue. Please come to 149.1.
Yes.
Last 3 lines.
Yes, my lord. Yes,
If
my lord.
any candidate does not possess the prescribed educational qualification by this date,
Exactly.
so you say read this much. Why you are arguing here?
I'm obliged. Not will.
Consider ineligible for the application form.
Yes, this is our.
Read this now.
Yes,
That is required.
yes, my lord.
Going here and there.
This is.
Always last cutoff date is there.
Yes, the cutoff date is there, and this
So
is
the cutoff date said the ineligibility. Now we are asking one thing.
Yes,
This is in the advertisement.
yes.
Something like this has been prescribed in the rules.
Oh, this last date.
Ma'am, please. There are two different things. If rule prescribes something like the UPSC rules, on that date you must possess this much. You cannot deviate from that.
I'll just get it verified. But you know what happens is each advertisement is special, and the dates mentioned therein will be only relevant to that particular selection. So the dates cut off.
Like that.
Yes.
But we are saying the rule must say that the persons must possess a qualification.
Yes.
Okay, on the last date of lemma of the form. That would be fine.
Yes.
We can understand the UPSC rules prescribe so.
Yes.
And then they cannot change any qualification of any time.
Yes. Just check 2, 3.
Is it something in the rules?
I'll just get it check. I'll just come back to you on that.
Check it, madam. What is your next argument?
Yes. Now again, Lord, I was submitting on this point that Lord, the rules have been changed midway. None of this. I was just trying to submit.
So your argument was, I will brief you. Rules were like this. Under rules, this is prescribed. They were not prescribed in the rules. So once they are challenging the advertisement, asking some benefit, and filing a petition through an association, in that situation they must have challenged the rules and ask the qualification in terms of provisions of this act, and accordingly the court may have allowed. So in the present case, nothing like that is followed. So that you understand?
Yes. Of course, and advertisement also that would be in the upper limb of the argument. As a Jtet candidate from 2016 waiting eagerly for this election, I have legitimate expectation that I will be considered as per the existing rules. Of course, in service somebody will find out, and I am aware that nobody has a vested right to be appointed or but I have right to be considered. Right to be considered in the existing rules and advertisement. That right I have.
Here it is a case right to participate.
Yes, to participate, not
Participate in the
yes,
right to participate in the test.
as per the existing rule.
Consider come after you qualify the applicant, and it will come.
That's what I'm seeking, Lord. Therefore, there is legitimate expectation that I will be considered as per the existing rules and advertisement is my submission. So therefore, the rules. So I that is next Lord, rules. Now the state after the judgment of the Honorable High Court have after the advertisement, after everything, they have now amended the rules in 23 to say that CTET can be considered as one of the eligibility conditions. That I'm bringing you to Lordship's notes because we have found an additional affidavit pointing out this couldn't have been done at this time because of the judgment. So therefore, again, the rules of the games being to be changed after the process had begun, which is impermissible in law.
Same argument would apply to it also.
Yes. No,
What argument you want to say for that?
yes. That
Rules need to challenge. So now the amendment you have to challenge.
we have for this honorable court, we have filed an additional application